What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Happy Christmas Eve, everybody, and welcome into the last episode of the Bostonian versus the book for 2025. My name is Matt Peralt. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the book. That is the same handle for X, Twitter, whatever you guys call it. We are also replayed on Sports Grid Television. We will be off from Sports Grid until January the 5th, okay? So just heads up, the show returns, new live shows or new recorded shows on Sports Grid on January the 5th. Just a heads up, this is the typical, traditional, normal time in which the show goes dark for the holiday season. I travel back to New England, and then we go right back to it on January the 5th with a new episode of BVB to recap everything that was going on while we were off. Audio podcasts are available wherever you guys get your audio podcasts, and you guys can go and, if you missed any shows, you can go back and listen to shows that you might have missed earlier in the year. Not a bad time to peruse and go backwards and see some other fun things that we've done. Times Matt was right, times Matt was wrong, to get into it. Today in the program, it is a BetCris Arizona Wednesday. That means where in the world? Where Adam Bjorn is, I have no clue. I have no idea where Adam Bjorn is going to be, but we've got 3 games tomorrow. We've got 2 games on Saturday. We have a ton of games on Sunday, all for week 17 of the NFL. A huge week of football in the professional ranks to get into. We have the playoff games that will take place on the 31st and 1st of December and January to get into with Adam. So we'll talk about that and then anything else we come up with to talk to the one and only Adam Bjorn. We also will do, in the opening line, we'll take a look backwards. It's the last show of 25. Let's do a retrospective and let's talk about each month. 12 months from 25, the biggest sports stories for 2025. We'll do that here in just 1 second. And then opening line, then Adam. And then after we talk to Adam, we will make the announcement as to who will win the BVB hat and the BVB shirt. By the way, the BVB hoodies are unbelievable. I could not even keep it on my body for like a minute when my daughter completely ripped it off and said hers. So my BVB hoodie is now property of my kid. I dropped off hoodies and hats for the Sherapans, for Jessica, for Kylie, Kelsey, and Kendall. I dropped off the money that you guys raised for the daughters, $700 each for Dave's daughters, which is a tremendous amount of money and a really great job out of you guys. They'll get that money tomorrow under the Christmas tree when they wake up. That is a really special thing. I saw Jessica yesterday. I talked to her for a while about what that's going to mean like tomorrow morning for the girls, because that was Dave's thing. It was the last thing that they did. So after all the gifts and after all the Santa Claus presents and everything else was handed out, Dave would then hand them an envelope, a bank envelope, which is what I just, it was the universe working. I grabbed bank envelopes, figuring Dave would grab bank envelopes, and he did. And inside the bank envelope would be cash. So I didn't ask how much money Dave normally gave, but I don't imagine it was more than $700, just knowing Dave, but each getting $700 to be able to go and do whatever they want with it and spend it in any way that they want. Thanks to you guys in the brigade. Really cool. Thank you to Corbin for producing all the hats and the t-shirts and the hoodies. And if you are interested in a hoodie, I know they didn't sell all that much, all that quickly, but they're nice. I mean, the hoodies are nice. I'll probably, maybe I can grab Madeline and have her come down here and model it, but it's pretty nice. And I was very, very pleased with it. The hats, when Dave's writing is on the side of the hats, it's pretty emotional to see that. It's like it's a heavy moment to check that out. But thank you again to you guys who bought hats and t-shirts and hoodies and everything else. The store is still available. If you want to get one after the holiday season, go ahead and order it. But I was happy with the hoodies, with the zip-ups. The full zip-up hoodies are exactly what I wanted it to be. The t-shirts are nice as well. So we've always done a good job with the hats. That's sort of like been our thing with the hats. There's still a little bit of a work in progress as to there's some things I want to tweak going forward for what the hats look like, but they are going to last longer now than what we did with the previous spot, which tended sometimes sometimes it would move around. Sometimes you'd see some threading that would come undone with the previous hats. these are really they're not going anywhere. They're really well put on. And the New Era hat quality is tremendous. And that was always Dave's thing. Like, he wanted to make sure the hat quality was extremely high. New Era, obviously one of the best companies in the world to make hats. So we're now using not exclusively New Era stuff, but we are using a lot of New Era hats for our store. So very cool stuff. Thank you guys for doing that. We'll get to Adam Bjorn here in about 10 minutes. Before we do that, let's start the show with looking back in 2025. All right, opening line for us and taking a look at the year that was, the 12 biggest show stories in the 12 months of 2025. We will begin with the Ohio State University and their victory in the national championship game after losing to Michigan and having everybody trying to run Ryan Day out of Columbus. They turned around and went on a run that I don't know if many people thought was possible given what they had looked like against Michigan. Being able to go and get a W and win a big game, a big tournament. And Ryan Day got the monkey off his back. He was able to get a championship to quiet down all the haters that wanted him gone because of what had happened previously with the loss to Michigan. He then turned around and beat Michigan this year. So Ohio State was able to not only get the win for the national championship in 2025, but they also finally beat Michigan and did so in convincing fashion this November at home. In February, the Eagles won their second Super Bowl. Very impressive performance against the Chiefs. It ended the Chiefs' run, and we didn't really know how much of a thud that was going to be for Kansas City, but frankly, the Chiefs have never been the same. Since they went up against these Eagles, the KC Chiefs have never been the same. It ended the dynasty, but it did more than just end the dynasty. It really made them look mortal. It made them look beatable. And Saquon Barkley had a year for the ages, and he's never recovered either. He has not looked the same. Since that Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley has not been the same either. But the Eagles winning, Nick Sirianni getting his first championship in a big time season for the Eagles. And look, they're going to be back in the playoffs this year. So, maybe they'll be able to back it up and try to go back to back. I don't think many people believe that's going to happen for the Eagles this year, but very, very impressive. In March, the rage, we were all talking about the torpedo bat. Remember that conversation as to what exactly it was? Was it legal? Was it allowed? The home runs that happened early, we talked about it being a steroid type of run. And then all of a sudden, by the time we got to July, nobody was talking about torpedo bats anymore. It was a really big story. We spent like the whole month of March talking about the torpedo bat and who was using it and who was not. Do you remember the gambling space? There were gambling space Twitter accounts, X accounts that literally were having these demarcations as to what player was using a torpedo bat and what player was not using a torpedo bat, and whether it was good to bet on them. When the torpedo bat was being used, it was better to bet on them. It was better to bet on the player that was going to use the torpedo bat. So, like, very cool stuff happening in the month of March for baseball. In the month of April, Rory McIlroy finally did it. He finally was able to win the Masters, the career Grand Slam, the one tournament that Rory was not able to accomplish, was not able to win, was unable to get a W, was in the month of April for that victory. It was dominant. It was impressive. Rory got it. And then the whole year fell apart for Rory. Like Rory got what he wanted. He got the Masters, and then everything fell apart. Just like everything fell apart. His whole season, his whole year. Like, we really didn't see from Rory again. Rory got the victory at Augusta, and then that was it. He partied. He did his thing. Rory just won and then just fell apart. That was the pinnacle of the year for Rory McIlroy to go ahead and win the Masters. In May, we got introduced to a new team in the Eastern Conference that, well, they shocked me. They went and won the Eastern Conference Championship. I'm not sure how many people really thought that back in the beginning part of the year that the Pacers were going to wind up in the NBA Finals, but they were awesome. And they were the story of basketball. They beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Championship, and they looked like a real formidable opponent for Oklahoma City, even though SGA and company had been so dominant and they had been so good. We still thought the Pacers had a shot, and then unfortunately the Achilles injury that happened in Game 7 to really set that franchise way back. And it wasn't just that injury. It's been multiple injuries that have just, the Pacers can't stay healthy. They're really banged up, and they just, this is a lost year for them essentially. And I think Pacer fans are pretty comfortable with that, given the injury to Tyrese Halliburton. Get him healthy, get him back, and then go after it again in 26-27. But the 25-26 season is sort of a loss for them, unfortunately. But then in June, we then saw potentially the birth of a dynasty. Now, we're a ways away. They only have one, but they have one. And the Thunder have been awesome this year. Now, they lost again to the Spurs last night. We'll talk about that later on, but there may be a kryptonite there for SGA and company. It might be Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. But in June, we did see the Thunder win their first NBA championship and getting what might be multiple for this young core that is not only extremely talented, they not only have the best player in the game, they also are armed with multiple draft picks for this year and next year and the year after. They are lined up to be a dominant franchise for the next decade if everybody stays healthy and everybody plays the way they're capable of playing. But the Thunder are formidable. I would be remiss if I didn't stop for a second and talk about June, because June was the last time that Dave appeared on the show. Dave had surgery on July the 7th, and Dave last appeared on the show on June 27th. And throughout the month of June, really month of May, Dave was appearing on the show sporadically, and he was in a lot of pain. And I remember watching him on Sports Grid towards the beginning of June. And I sent him a text and I said, "You need to stop." And he said, "What?" I go, "You are in so much pain. And it's so obvious that you were in so much pain." And he was taking this mouthwash that was numbing his entire mouth. And he wasn't able to fully speak the way he wanted to, the way he was normally able to. And he then kind of whittled it down. He worked for a couple of more days at Sports Grid. He appeared on the show, I believe it was June 27th. And then he finally said, that's it. He was in too much pain. And he decided to shut it down and get ready. But it's amazing that it's been 6 months, that it's been that long since Dave appeared on BVB. And it still doesn't feel, I mean, when I was talking with Jessica yesterday, and it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like a reality at all. But yeah, tough. July, Clayton Kershaw gets number 3,000 for strikeouts. That's probably the last time we're going to see a pitcher go for 3,000 strikeouts. That's probably it. Unbelievable career. More on the Dodgers here in a second. In the month of August, well, he finally got it. Tommy Fleetwood finally got it. Finally won his first major. Wins the PGA. A guy that I have been cheering for and betting for so long. Love the guy. I love Tommy Fleetwood. In the month of September, well, we got a fight here in Vegas between Terrence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez at Allegiant Stadium. The first boxing fight happening at Allegiant, and what a win for Bud Crawford. It turned out to be his last. At 42-0, Bud Crawford determined that he is done, and he has walked away after a dominant victory over Canelo Alvarez. Just an impressive, incredible performance for Bud, my favorite boxer of all time. Absolutely love the guy. He's earned everything and every right to walk away. In October, we had the massive betting scandal, one of many, but the Terry Rozier and the Chauncey Billups story came out, and we found out that what they were doing was unbelievable. what they were doing with poker. The sports betting angle wasn't as big of a deal to me as the poker rooms that these guys were running and what they got involved with. Chauncey Billups was the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, of all things. Head coach of Portland getting arrested for being involved in a gigantic gambling ring. It wasn't the only conversation we had about gambling and scandals and players and everything else that happened, but that was probably the loudest of them all, louder than the Guardian scandal when it happened with that. In the month of November, the Dodgers went back-to-back. November the 1st. Can you believe that? November the 1st, we had a championship awarded to the LA Dodgers, back-to-back rings for them. And then finally, maybe the most gruesome story in terms of off-the-field behavior. In December, Michigan fires Sharon Moore. He then gets arrested for breaking into the house of his mistress and threatening to harm himself, not harm her. But Michigan is still without a head coach as we sit here on the 24th of December. They still are not being coached by anybody. And the speculation is it's somebody who currently is coaching. Is it John Harbaugh? Is it Kellen DeBoer? Who may wind up getting the job at Michigan? We do not know. But the year of sports in 2025 was quite remarkable. It was a roller coaster, to say the least, on a lot of ways. I am sitting in Vegas. I am sitting underneath dark clouds and like pelting rain. It never rains in Vegas. But our guy, wait till you guys see where our guy is. This is unbelievable. Well, where in the world is Adam Bjorn? Adam Bjorn is somewhere breezy and sunny, and it looks gorgeous. Where are you, my friend? How are you? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yeah, same to you. I'm good. I'm back on my balcony in Jamaica where the wind is blowing pretty heftily today.
Well, I mean, so you were able to get down there. Give us an on-the-ground view. What is it like in Jamaica at the moment?
Well, the politicians come out last week and said 84% of electricity has been restored. I'm happy to call bullshit on that after driving around a little bit. Yeah, I mean, again, Kingston's fine. The East is fine. West is a little rough. Again, downtown Montego Bay, you can still see the remnants, some gas stations without roofs, things like that. As I look out into our community, there's blue tarpaulins everywhere. So, yeah, it's a work in progress. The idea is we actually had 3 of our barrels arrive this week. So we're in Kingston at the wharf getting that. So now we have a pantry full of stuff and hoping to get a head out Saturday and Sunday and start distributing some things. And then wharfs here are just backed up for weeks. So the rest of the stuff looks like it's going to clear either just before New Year's or just after. So there'll be another trip on the horizon to get back down here. But as I've said before, this is going to take a very, very long time to get back on their feet. I've seen numbers of, people saying the $6 billion that they say that they're going to get for recovery isn't enough. They need 9. And so, there's that political shit show that you have that we see in the Haitis and those things now, seeing it in our own backyard.
What was the airport like flying in? Because I saw a video. I mean, I flew in, I was there in April, and I saw a video of the terminal in which I flew out of for JetBlue, and there wasn't a roof on the terminal. What was the airport like when you flew in?
Yeah, so it's all right. I mean, I remember those videos. It was sort of one certain section of it. It's empty. I mean, when you land, you get through pretty quick. I've had, sometimes it could take up to 1-2 hours to get through. I mean, I had my bags, which the bags here is probably the slowest airport on the planet that I've ever come across getting your bags. I was out in like under 25 minutes, sort of landing, out waiting for the car. So, I see there's, I can see the airport's just down there, and there is flights. I saw JetBlue from the beach this morning. So there is some coming in. And again, the east side, there's a hotel and a lot starting to pick up some of the tourism. But all the hotels along here are all pretty much closed until at least August, maybe more November, December.
Well, I really hope when the island gets back on its feet, people make a concerted effort to go and spend money down there and help the island out. I mean, what's the weather today? I mean, it's December 24th. What's the weather today?
Blue skies, few clouds, bit of wind. I'm guessing like mid high 20s,
Yeah. Well, that would be
which is
80s,
80s.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
You can't say Celsius. People will go, what? I don't understand. What is Celsius? Yeah, 80. It's nice down there. It's gorgeous. So obviously if you're freezing cold, like, New England in New York, that area got snow last night. So hopefully people will start to book trips down there when it's open to be able to go down there and remember how beautiful of a country Jamaica is and the weather on top of that. Well, we got some big games tomorrow, Adam, and 3 games on Christmas that Netflix, when they were buying it, thought they were bad at buying this incredible package of games. For gamblers, they're fun. I'm not sure how much it is for the folks who actually are excited about, watching these games. Well, let's start with the Cowboys and the Commanders. Cowboys are road favorites against the Commander team that didn't look great last week against the Eagles. Anybody having an appetite for a home dog here with the Commanders?
I mean, for how many weeks did we say Christmas Day Survivor was going to be brutal? And then we look at 7, 7.5, 13.5. And this game, I mean, we're sitting at 9, 8.5 right now. It was 3.5, 3.5 it opened. And now up to 9. 82% of the money's on Dallas. 98% of the master money's on Dallas. But all of that is at 3.5, 4, a bit at 6.5. Nothing popping up around. And no takers coming back on Washington, even at the 8.5 and 9.
Are you guys just trying to discover a price in which you'll get a bet on the dog? Is that why the number keeps on climbing?
It could quite be, because there is, and they haven't found it yet. Maybe if they sneak up to 10 or someone buys it to 10, maybe they see it. But yeah, 9, I think 9 dog 15 it's sitting right now, and it's not getting any action.
How about that? When I did that this morning, it was 7. You guys have already moved 2 points in the last 4 hours. So, okay. One-way action coming on the Cowboys. If you like the Commanders, just wait. You may get 10 to take the home dog Commanders. The Lions and the Vikings, look, taking teams that, quote, need to win in week 17 and 18 is a recipe for disaster. Like going, the Lions have to win, so I'm taking the Lions. This hook tells me that the Vikings are the side here. What's the action for Minnesota and Detroit?
So 84% of the money is on Detroit, but I will come with a caveat. 94% of that is teaser money, and then there's just no betting from the Masters on this game as yet.
Interesting. They're staying away from the Lions and the Vikings. All right, Lions have to win and hope and get some help to keep themselves alive in the postseason. The Broncos are laying 13, where if this number closes, this would be the biggest number as a dog for the Chiefs in the history of Arrowhead Stadium. They have never been 13-point dogs before. 13.5 was last night when I took KC. I bet it. KC plus 13.5. What are you seeing? People laying this with the Broncos on the road?
They are. 76% of the money's on the Broncos. 91% of the master money's on the Broncos, but nothing shorter than the 12.5. The little bit that was taken back was at 13.5, a little bit bought to 14. But yeah, it's Broncos money. I mean, one of our biggest games last week was Titans against KC. And that saluted, but it just seems like it's weird because they were all against Dallas last week. Now they're jumping on Dallas. They were all against, Broncos or on KC last week. Now they're against KC. It's just they're jumping on and off all over the place, and which is great to see because, when they just don't know what to do, it gives us our best chance.
So how much of a need will it be for you guys with the money line parlays of the Cowboys, Lions, Broncos money line parlays tomorrow? Is that just everyone's ticket? Every 3-leg money line parlay is going to be taking the favorites tomorrow?
Yeah, we're just one favorite to get beaten on the money line will be a huge result because that's it. I mean, it's Thanksgiving Day. It's just they're going to just roll it up, put it all together. If one dog gets beat, they'll roll it into the next, and one favorite gets beat, they'll just go and go. But yeah, if we can get one of those beaten tomorrow, it'll be a big start to the week.
You mentioned the teaser money coming in on the Lions. Is that also with like teasing the Cowboys down to 1, teasing the Lions down to 1.5, Broncos down to 7? Is that the teaser play?
Yeah, it looks like it. I was just checking into the Cowboys as well. Not so much on the Broncos, but definitely those first two games,
Okay.
Dallas and Detroit seems to be a big two-team teaser play.
Yeah, it's probably the bright side to do that. Just take it. That's probably the way to bet it, rather than doing the money line Lions and the Cowboys. Just tease it down, because if they win, they're going to cover 1.5 or half or one on that. All right, this Saturday we go, and I love these games. I mean, the Ravens against the Packers has an interesting twist to it because of the quarterback situation. We don't know about Jordan Love, although he is trending towards playing with the concussion. We know that the Ravens are worried about Lamar Jackson, and the back injury he suffered against the Patriots may keep him out of this game, but Snoop Hundley played pretty well in this game. What do you make of Ravens Packers? This number at least is 3. This is a smaller number than what we're seeing on Christmas, but where's the action coming in on Baltimore and Green Bay?
Yeah, so the caveat is there's not much action on this game. 84% of it on Green Bay, 94% of the master money on Green Bay, but it was at 2.5. There's nothing else at the 3. But this is by far, looking at all the NFL games over the next, 4 days, the lowest action of all. So just the injury statuses, not knowing. I think everyone's just like, you know what? There's enough other games on the board. Let me stay away from this one.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I don't think I could bet this until Saturday morning, until you have like a really solid idea as to what exactly is happening with the quarterbacks for both these two teams, because it's a big difference. If Love plays, I think you'll see people come in and hammer the Packers. If Lamar plays, well, Lamar, it's desperation time for both these teams. So you assume Lamar might try to play, but you could probably look at +3 on the Ravens. So that makes a lot of sense. But what about Texans and the Chargers? Both these teams need it. Chargers are hot. Texans are maybe the hottest team in football, even though they didn't look great last week against the Raiders, not covering that 14-point number. Chargers a small home favorite. Anyone like Houston?
Majority is on the Chargers, and they come hard early. There has been money coming back on Houston the last few days, because when I looked at the numbers Monday, I think Chargers were close to 90% of the money. Now it's 62% of the money, 71% of the Masters. They started +1, went to -1 pretty quickly. Money line's balanced. So that one looks like it's leaning towards the Chargers right now. And just to go back to that Baltimore Green Bay one, this is where bettors should just wait for the live. Like, this is where you'll get the books, and what the books will do, especially if they don't really know what's going to happen, is they set that number based off the closing line. And that's when you get the opportunity to sort of use your eyes to see how the quarterbacks show up. And the models and that don't really adjust quick enough, early enough on that spot. So just some inside info there.
So would you recommend, is that a first quarter play, or do you wait further into the game before you'd pull the trigger on an in-game bet there?
I think a lot of people, if you watch enough games, you sort of see the first snap or two and go, okay, this guy's not right, or he's on game, or, those kind of things. And then you can sort of make some quick decisions, because I know the models just aren't quick enough adjusting to that spot based on what the closing line was when the first snap's taking. It takes the traders a little time to adjust what they're really seeing with their eyes, because they're taught to trust the data and trust what the closing line was, rather than just looking at the game and saying, hey, this is wrong. Like, let's adjust this more aggressively.
Interesting. Okay. I like that play. I like that idea. We go to Saturday or Sunday rather, and the Steelers will be without their star wide receiver, DK Metcalf. He has been suspended for 2 games for the altercation last week with a fan in Detroit. You have a Steelers team that's now favored against the Browns in the black and blue division. Cleveland would love nothing more than to upset the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anybody like the home dog here?
I love the home dog. 72% of the money's on Cleveland. 100% of the master money's on Cleveland at +4, at +3.5. But yeah, looking at this right now and the amount of money that's on this game, looks like we'll need the Steelers no matter how this rolls out between now and Sunday.
Do you like the Steelers on Sunday? Would you lay this number?
I haven't really liked the Steelers at all season. And I've been on the wrong side of them most of the times, whether I've been on them or against them, and completely messed it up. But these division games, home dogs, Cleveland will show up for this one, whether the motivation's there or not. I I don't know what the weather's like. I don't know what, I haven't
Right.
looked at that deep into it, but the Browns are coming to, and they're trying on this one.
Yeah, I guarantee your weather's nicer. I guarantee that you'll have you'll have the advantage. The weather advantage will be in your department for this one. I don't really know what to do with the Eagles and the Bills. This game, Josh Allen has never beaten the Eagles in his career, which is a crazy stat. He's beaten every other team in the NFL. He's never beaten the Eagles, and his team needs it desperately here with this one. Masters like in Philly, or they think Buffalo at home and the weather might get it done?
Well, this one went from 3 down to 1. 73% of the money on Philly, 75% of the master money. It's at the 2.5 and 3. They're not following it in at the 1. But this one right now, it looks, again, like we'll need the Bills at home. Still a long way to go. And there's not a ton of money on it, but it has shown up that they were taking the Eagles early, especially at the +3 and the 2.5.
All right, well, one more game in the NFL, and then we'll get to the playoff games for college. I can't wait to watch this game. I mean, Bears, 49ers I can't wait. This game's going to be awesome. The Niners are red hot. Huge win on Monday night, beating the Indianapolis Colts in prime time. The Bears have been playing tremendous football. Great number. Set the 3. Home favorite. Laying 3. Let them bet it. Where's the money coming? Anyone think that Caleb can go to San Francisco and beat the 49ers?
So the Masters are 57% of the money's on the 49ers, 71% of the master money's on the Bears,
Wow.
+3 there, and the -2.5 they've got a little bit on as well. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those games again. People have been sort of, are the Bears for real? They keep showing up. The 49ers, I did have a fair go at about 2-3 weeks ago to win the Super Bowl and the conference and things like that at sort of mid-20s, mid-teens for those two things. But yeah, I think this is a one where it sees which of these two teams is genuine and for real and how it looks. But this will be a cracker of a game, I imagine.
I took 14-1 last night on the Niners to win the Super Bowl. I like what they're doing, and frankly, they're at home. I mean, the Niners could play in their home stadium potentially if they get through. They could win. They could be the 1 seed if they win this game against the Bears on Sunday night, and then beat Seattle, which they did in Week 1. They beat them in Week 18. They not only win the division, they're the 1 seed. After all the injuries and all the crap that happened to San Francisco, they'd be the 1 seed with the Super Bowl in their building. They could play at home for every game, including the Super Bowl. So that's a crazy angle. We stop and think about that from a football perspective, that the Rams did it. The Rams got a chance to play in their home stadium. The Niners could too, potentially. All right, to the college football playoffs. I know we're a week away, so the action may change here a little bit, but a lot of the bettors do tend to get involved early. What are you seeing with Miami and Ohio State? This is the biggest number of the 4 games. It's a 9.5 number, opened at 7, it's been bet to 9.5. Any buyback on the Hurricanes?
This is fairly well balanced, and there's a ton of money on this game. This is by far the biggest bet game. 54% of the money's on Ohio, and 81% of the master money at the 8.5, 9.5. But yeah, right now this is a big bet game. Master money on the favorite there right now.
So you'll need Miami most likely by kickoff.
It looks like it, yes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I like Ohio State. I don't like Miami either, so I agree. Oregon and Texas Tech, the number's 2. The tiny number. It's the smallest number of the 4 games here. Oregon taking on a Texas Tech team that I think has a real shot to make a run. I like Texas Tech as a small dog here. Where's the action on Oregon, Texas Tech?
Yeah, so I've been looking at Texas Tech for quite a while because there was a bunch of really smart people that took them at 40s and 50s to win this whole thing early on.
I wish I had that. Wow.
But yeah, 52% of the money on Oregon, 80% of the master money is on Oregon. A little bit at the -1.5 is where they went hard early, took it to 2.5, and that's where the other money's sort of popping up.
I think I have 9-1. I don't have 40. I wish I had 40. If I take it 40, that would have been great. I think I have 9-1 on Texas Tech to win it all. So hopefully those sharp, smart people are right. All right, 2 more games. Alabama, Indiana. I mean, this is one of those things where, like, if I got knocked on my head in 2020 and I woke up in 2025 and somebody told me that Alabama was playing Indiana and catching 6.5 points, I might tell you that, like, knock me out again because I'm not back in reality. What is this? I mean, is anyone taking Indiana or is this all Bama money?
So it's 50-50 overall, and 100% of the master money is on Indiana at the -6.5.
6.5. It's just a number is, I don't know. I like Indiana, but I don't know. That's crazy. That's a crazy number. 6.5 is a lot for Indiana to be favored over Alabama. And finally, Ole Miss, Georgia rematch game. Ole Miss have a shot here, or is everyone laying the points with Georgia?
No, it seems like they have a shot because Georgia, while 71% of the money overall, 53% of the master money is on Ole Miss. And I did notice that a little bit of master money on the money line there as well, where normally I'd be looking at that as potentially a data play. And again, we've got a few days to see how it plays out. But there is some master money hitting that money line there.
All right. I know you're super busy. You got a lot of stuff going on. The phone's going off, so I don't want to keep you too long. But I just want to ask, what is tomorrow for you guys for Christmas? What is New Year's Eve and New Year's Day like for you? I mean, what's the holidays? Because you got us beat with the weather, so everyone's jealous. So everyone now wants to know, what are you up to for the holiday season?
So no kids, distributed kids last week, couple in New York, couple in Florida. So just with the wife down here. Generally, Christmas Day is pretty quiet. Boxing Day, and I know for Americans not understanding the Boxing Day, is a lot bigger, where we'll do a full feast, and sort of that'll be our Christmas dinner per se on that. New Year's, no idea right now. No idea. Could be anywhere.
I could be anywhere. And literally the answer is you could be anywhere coming up for that. Well, listen, wherever you wind up going, please be safe. You're doing incredible work down in Jamaica, that everyone's following you and really impressed with what's going on down there. Are you going to do any of the live streams? Are we still doing this on your Twitter account when it comes to football for the next couple of weeks?
Shit.
All right.
Yes. Yes, I will be. I've actually... The last few days I've missed a couple of games and whatnot, but I'm planning on getting back to it tomorrow, all the way through the new year period into the playoffs, and through the January. Going to step up the game a little bit and get into it a bit more.
Like 1 hour prior to kickoff, right? So is that the general time frame?
See, on Sunday, usually I've done sort of 15, 20 minutes. I've started to notice the closer I get to the games, the money really shows up, and it really gives me a lot better idea of what kind of message to give. But yeah, just trying to even do multiple ones as we're seeing numbers, seeing things come in and get information. I am going to actually try and do a few games live to sort of see where the money's coming in and that. It's just been a time constraint, but I really am planning to dig into that over the next few weeks as well.
All right, go follow Adam Bjorn 2 on Twitter, X, all that stuff he does with the live stream is very, very cool. Adam, happy holidays. Thank you for coming on.
Same to you.
We'll talk to you soon. All right, my friend.
Same to everyone else. Good luck.
Please be safe.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Adam Bjorn joining us here on the Bostonian versus the book here for our last conversation here in 2025, and then we'll get back with him in 2025 a little bit later on. Sorry, hold on. There we go. That's what I was trying to find for us coming up with that. I mean, look, if you're somewhere where it's freezing cold, and you see him with the wind blowing in his hair and it's 80 degrees, you feel jealous, right? I mean, rightfully so. I'd be jealous too. It's not nice in Vegas. We've had phenomenal weather here in Vegas for the last 3 weeks. It's been 70 degrees. And then on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, it's going to be crap. I don't mind that, though. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like, I don't mind bad weather on Christmas and Christmas Eve because I don't like going anywhere anyway. So I just I wanted to do the show today because it's the last show of 25. So I want to do the show. I got on a plane on Friday and fly back to New England, and it's frigid there. It's like it snowed like 6 inches in New England last night. So I'm going back into the teeth of winter and going to remind myself of like, oh, right, that's why I live in Vegas. But we're going back there. And so the weather not being great here, I'm perfectly comfortable hanging out. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I'm not doing anything too crazy. And I'm going to hang out. The one thing that I did not realize, and the one thing that I was not ready for, what happened to the sports calendar on Christmas Eve? The sports, we have had conversations, you guys, us in the brigade, me and the brigade, you guys, we have talked about this as like, what's the worst sports day of the year? And pretty much for the, I don't know, I'm 48 years old. My entire life, it's always been the day after the All-Star game in July, where there's just nothing going on, right? That's always been the worst sports day of the year. I think New Year's Eve might have it beat. I opened up the sports calendar to do the Daily Juice last night, and I went, wait, there's no NFL, there's no NBA, there's no NHL, there is one awful bowl game between Cal and Hawaii. Like, I don't understand this. It's Christmas Eve. I don't get it. There's no college basketball. There's no college hockey. There's nothing. There is nothing to bet at all today. And tomorrow on Christmas, which is the actual holiday, tomorrow it is an absolute, I mean, I remember going to an Iowa State bowl game, the Insight Bowl in Phoenix, and I forget who they played, but it was on Christmas Eve. I'm pretty confident it was on Christmas Eve. And so, like, I don't understand. Is it they must have done some level of research? Like the leagues must have done something where people, because Christmas Eve is such a stressful environment for so many families, because the big guy is arriving tonight, so they got to get everything ready. That nobody wants to go to a sporting event and nobody wants to watch a sporting event on Christmas Eve, whether it be midnight mass or whether it be whatever people are doing for getting ready. I mean, for my family, I don't know how you guys, the hardest thing about being on the West Coast for me, and the most, if I could do anything, those Christmas movies when people get to make a wish and they get to like go back in time, whether it be Scrooged or whether it be a different Christmas Carol or whatever it may be, where you get that opportunity to go back. If I could take my daughter back to when my grandfather was alive, and my grandfather passed away a long time ago, but he was 81 when he passed. But my grandfather used to be the greatest Christmas Eve 7 fishes chef on the planet. To watch my grandfather work 7 different dishes all going at once, to watch him being able to do that it might have been the happiest I've ever been. And there were a couple of years where my aunt and uncle, they live in Maine now, but at the time they lived in Acton, Mass, and they had a big farmhouse, and they would have my entire family. I have 17 cousins on my mom's side. I'm the third oldest of the 17 cousins. And so I was always there to hang out with my 2 older cousins, who I thought were like the coolest kids on the planet, because I was always looking up to them. And then everybody else behind me, all the 14 other ones, were looking up to me. But my grandfather was able, I just sat there at the island while my grandfather cooked one year. And I just talked to him the whole time while he was cooking, and like asking him, like, what about this? What about that? What are you doing here? And I was raised Italian Catholic. And if you were raised Italian Catholic, Christmas Eve is almost a bigger deal than Christmas Day. Like Christmas Day is you go to your immediate family, your nuclear family, if you want to call it that, right? That's where you would go. But Christmas Eve was when everybody was there. Your entire family was there. And if I could take my daughter to let her experience that, and I was very young, okay? I was like 13, 14 I'm talking about, but there's nobody on the West Coast. There's my brother who's in Oakland, who is now in Boston for Christmas, but that's it. There's me, there's Madeline, and there's my brother. There's Maddie's mom too, obviously, but like that's on the West Coast. That's it. Everybody else, including my girlfriend, everybody else is all on the East Coast. They're all back in Boston. So like a Christmas Eve, a Christmas Day, like we'll get all of that, but we'll get it later. We won't get it in the same way. And I'm the oldest of 5. And now I don't know if I told you guys that my sister is pregnant. Did I tell you guys my sister is pregnant? I don't think I made that announcement. I probably should have done that last week. Sorry. She made it Facebook, Instagram official, I think on Friday of last week, I think is when she made it official. So like I couldn't say anything until then, but she's pregnant. So there's me. I have Madeline. My brother, he has his 2 kids. then there's going to be my sister who's having a girl. So she'll have in June, she's having a girl. So she'll have her kids. So now there's starting to be like this like next wave of things. And so I'm trying and efforting to like recreating in the very near future to recreate that, because my mom was one of 7. I'm one of 5 now. And so that's my dream. Like my dream is to recreate that Friday or that Christmas Eve event. And I like to cook. So I would be the one replacing my grandfather, but doing what my grandfather did and having all the kids run around. Now there's only 4. There's gonna be 4. There's my 2 nieces and nephews, Maddie, and then soon to be my sister's daughter. So there's 4. But in the future, my 2 brothers, Colin and Owen, at some point, Colin's 31 or 34. Sorry, he's 34. Owen is 31. They're going to get married at some point in the near future. They're going to have kids. And so you can start to see it. Like there's going to be this, like Madeline is 11. So she's going to be one of the oldest. She's the 3rd oldest, just like me, but she'll have a lot of people underneath her, behind her with this. So that is the one thing that I want my daughter to experience so desperately. Go have more kids with who? I'm 48 years old. I don't think Amanda's interested in having any more kids. I think she's good with that. So she has Brooks, and Brooks is tremendous, and we can't wait to see Brooks. So, I mean, technically you can put Brooks into that conversation as well. So he'll be part of it as well, but it's a whole thing. It's such a, I get very nostalgic. I get very romantic at this part of the year, this time of the year. I love Christmas. JPC, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Really do. Thank you for that. Hard year. It was a hard year. It was Chef Benny. Great day to play some scratch tickets. My grandfather would have loved you. Man, my grandfather would have loved you. My grandfather, for those of you that are from different, there's such a cultural thing about Rhode Island and Massachusetts, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is about us when it comes to scratch tickets, but my grandfather would give us $100 and he'd give us 2 or 3 scratch tickets every year for Christmas. That's what he would give us. It's part of our culture. Every time my dad went to the package store, that's what we called the liquor store. It's called the Packy. For those of you guys who aren't from New England, we called it the Packy. You go to the Packy, and when you went to the Packy, you bought a 6-pack of beer and you bought a scratch ticket. And then, back in the 80s, it was a 6-pack of beer, a package, a carton of cigarettes, and a scratch ticket. And then you would take the carton of cigarettes and you would scratch off the scratch tickets on the back of the carton of cigarettes. Like you want to be OG New England? That is an OG New England move right there. 100%. If you want to go a step farther, it would be going to the gas station with the Dunkin' Donuts in it. So you would then go to Dunk's. You would get a 6-pack of beer, a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, regular, 3 creams, 3 sugars, a scratch ticket, a carton of cigarettes. That is your run. That is your package store, aka, run to the to a mobile station. A lot of times there are mobile stations. If you guys have mobile gas stations by your house, so you do that on this. Oh, that's an awesome idea, Corbin. Drive to state line. So state line is the state line between Arizona and Nevada. You drive down the state line, you can go buy scratch tickets in Arizona because they have it down there. You had a what? A Fast Freddy's gas station in Duncan. Really, in Rhode Island? Fast Freddy's is here in Nevada. I didn't know that was an East Coast thing. Fast Freddy's is here. I actually went to actually try to go to a Fast Freddy's to get my car. Amazing, right? You wash your car and then all of a sudden the rain pours. But I did that yesterday or 2 days ago, get my car washed. And I walked in and it was all different because it had been bought out by a different company. And I was like, where did Fast Freddy's go? And they're like, May. This all flipped in May. I was like, oh, I haven't washed my car in a while. I was like, sorry. So yeah, we have a Fast Freddy's here. The Packy is tremendous. It doesn't mean you sell alcohol. Okay, that's true. That's alcohol. There you go. They have Dunks in the Packy now, Ross. Dunkin' Donuts exists in the package store in New England. Oh my. My daughter to this day right now cannot understand why you cannot buy hard alcohol in grocery stores in New England. She thinks it's the weirdest thing. She's like, so I can buy beer and I can buy wine, but I can't buy whiskey? Why? Like, why? She's like, I don't understand. She's like, why do you? Why? And then the whole New Hampshire thing completely flips her out. Like, why is there a state-run liquor store? And when you stop and think about this, really, the whole tangent day. It's Christmas Eve. So the last time I was home with Amanda, and actually it may have been this summer because Madeline was there, where she asked a question about like, what is the New Hampshire state liquor store? And we had to get into a conversation about the state owning a liquor store. And when you actually say it out loud, it sounds insane. Like, it doesn't sound American. That the New Hampshire government, they control the liquor distribution in the entire state of New Hampshire. Like, think about that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would we allow the state of New Hampshire to get every dollar and dime off the public when you go to buy liquor and you go buy alcohol? Like, huh? So nobody, there are no, in case you guys don't know this, there are no privately owned liquor stores in New Hampshire. It is all run by the New Hampshire Alcohol Bureau. They have it. They run it. And they take all the money. They take all the money, all of it. They take it. They keep all of the taxes. Now, they don't have certain taxes, like there's no income tax, there's no sales tax. Like, there's a lot of things in New Hampshire that they like, but they tax the hell out of liquor and they control all of it. And this is my joke too, Chef Benny. But it's live free or die. It's live free or die. Yes, you learned something today. Yes. It is a wild thing. It really, to explain it to your daughter, and you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, how do people in New Hampshire allow this? Where like nobody can open up Tom's liquor store and sell whiskey. And like, you can't sell alcohol. You're not allowed to sell it unless it's a state-run property. The New Hampshire Liquor Outlet. That's what it's called. The New Hampshire Liquor Outlet. It's unbelievable. There you go, Brooke. He worked at summer camp in New Hampshire, learned the weirdness of buying alcohol in New Hampshire. It is weird. It is weird. But you are absolutely right, Ross. There is the other side. The other side is it is phenomenal. The prices are phenomenal. They do keep them low. That is true. And people from Massachusetts, oftentimes, including me, make the quick drive up 93. You cross the state line, you hit that first liquor store, and bam, you're saving yourself a lot of money. In particular, if you're buying for a big party. Oh, we used to drive up by kegs. We drive up to buy cases. Like, you save big money, big money to go up there and do that. Yeah. Sorry. Prior to 5 years ago, you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays in Indiana. Blue laws are funny. Somebody who's from Mass, Ross, when did the blue laws change in Massachusetts? Because for a long time, when I was growing up, you could not buy alcohol. You couldn't buy beer on Sundays in Massachusetts. You had to drive to New Hampshire. Another drive to New Hampshire. So I lived in Andover, Mass. I grew up in Andover, which is literally 10 miles from the New Hampshire border. So we would drive. I mean, we can really quickly get to New Hampshire. So we were back and forth all the time. And a lot of those towns in the Merrimack Valley where I grew up would do the same thing. Where on Sundays, the Patriots would play, you'd get up. Like, you ever go to Chick-fil-A on a Sunday and forget that it's Sunday? And like, you drive to you're like, oh man, it's Sunday. I can't go to Chick-fil-A. It's the same thing when it came to liquor. Like, you'd get up and you'd be like, oh, the Patriots play at 1. I got to go to the liquor store. And you'd go to the liquor store and you're like, oh, it's Sunday. I can't get liquor. It's So that's everybody would get mad. When the Patriots started to win, that makes sense. 2002 makes sense. Yeah, it's only been like 20 years. Only been like 20 years since you've been able to buy alcohol on Sunday in Massachusetts. We called it blue laws. That's what we called it. We called it blue laws. All right, let's make some plays. Week 17 of the NFL is here. I got a pick on every game that will be played starting tomorrow, Saturday, and on Sunday. Just Picks being brought to you by their Betting Pros Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. You guys can go and download that with the Betting Pros app or go to bettingpros.com/props and take a look at all of their algorithm-based picks and plays for prop betting for this coming NFL weekend. Let's start with Dallas and their game against the Commanders. I don't want to lay 7 with Dallas. No, thank you. I also don't want to take 7 with the Commanders. Instead, The Dallas Cowboys are 14-1 to a first half over. Let's hope that Marcus Mariota and company can make this a little bit of a fun football game and score against a really bad Dallas defense. The total for the first half is 24.5. Let's go over. Over 24.5 for Dallas and the Commanders. Game number 2 on Saturday, or on Thursday, rather, for Christmas. Fade teams that need to win. Teams that are playing a, quote, must-win game, like the Lions are. Well, they only cover about 40% of the time. Here's the Vikings with the hook. Give me Minnesota. I'm taking the Vikings. The Lions are broken. I don't think the Vikings are great either. They won by 3 at the Jets last week, but they are at home, and it is Christmas. And I think there's a distracted Lions team. There's a angry Lions team. I'll take the points. Maybe Lions win. I'll take the Vikings plus 7.5. Biggest line in the history of Arrowhead at the moment. The Chiefs have never been this big of dogs. This is going to be a low-scoring game. This is going to be a slobber knocker of a game in prime time on Christmas night on Netflix. Ugly game. 13.5. Give me the Chiefs. Look, Denver may win the game, but this defense with Steve Spagnuolo, I think that they're going to try to find something here to confuse Bo Nix. I'll bet on this Chief defense for playing really hard. They may lose. They keep the game close. I'll take the 13.5 points. Give me the Chiefs at plus 13.5. Let's talk Texans and Chargers. The Chargers played at Dallas last week. Teams coming off of a game against the Cowboys on the road are 0-7 ATS the following week. I like the Texans defense. I'm not trusting this Charger team at the moment. I know the offense is a bit suspect for Houston, but I like this defense a lot. I don't like the offensive line for the Chargers. Give me the Texans -1. Let's go Green Bay and Baltimore. Both of these teams really start slowly. They're two of the best teams to first half unders in the NFL, and there's a good shot that we're seeing backup quarterbacks playing for both. Malik Willis could be playing. Jordan Love might play, but it's a question. And then I don't know how much we're going to see from Lamar. I mean, Lamar, he took a shot in the back, a knee to the back, which maybe he can play with it. Maybe he cannot. Under 20.5 in the first half for Green Bay and Baltimore. We got the Brissett and the Burrow Bowl going after it here with the Cardinals and the Bengals. I don't know what to do with this game besides bet over. Bet over 52. That's about it. That's all I really know how to do. Bet over. Brissett, Burrow, over 52 in this game. Same thought with the Browns and the Steelers. This is a historically low total for these teams. Aaron Rodgers has never played in a game with the total at 34. Know what I'm doing? I'm still betting under. I don't like the offense for the Browns. I think the defense for the Steelers will play well. I think this Browns defense knows the only way they win is by going after it and playing hard defensively. Give me the under. We're going under 34 for Steelers and the Browns. The Saints are red hot. Oh my, are they hot? They won 3 games in a row. Break up New Orleans. I like New Orleans to get a win here, laying 2.5 on the road. We'll take the Saints at -2.5. And look, if you're a Saint fan, I don't know. Tyler Shuck's not nearly as bad as everyone wanted to make him out to be. He's not horrible. He's a dead under quarterback. I mean, you bet the under with the guy, but he's not horrible. And he may have something to say next year, giving a whole year with this offense, with this coaching staff, and taking a development, maybe taking a big step forward. They're playing the Titans. Cam Ward played well last week, but New Orleans' first 3-game winning streak. If they win this game, they got a 4-game ATS streak as well. It's the first time they've had a 3-game win streak since 2020. That's amazing. Since 2020. Titans, off their high from beating the Chiefs. I'm taking New Orleans -2.5 against the Titans. The Jaguars own the Colts. Just own them. 17-3-1 run against the spread for the Jaguars against the Colts. Jaguars, lay the 6.5. I know it's heavy. Don't care. Colts, I love you. I love Phillip Rivers for what he's trying to do. It's awesome what he's trying to do. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Give me the Jags. They own the Colts at 17-3-1, 18-3-1 now for Jacksonville. They'll win and cover against the Colts. If you guys are watching on the replay on Sports Grid, remember, Tomorrow's Christmas. We're off. And then we're off until January the 5th. Okay. Show is not back on. We will come back. I promise. We're coming back, but we're taking the break. End of the year. Start the new year. January 5th, that Monday, you will see us back on Sports Grid at 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. And if you are somebody who entered into the contest to win the shirt and the hat, we're doing that after the picks. We're doing it in bonus time. So come on over to the YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book, and you can see how I chose the winner for the hat and t-shirt. That will come up a little bit on this show, a couple minutes. But for you guys, go to the YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. The rest of you guys, don't move. Bonus time now. Okay, let me run through the rest of these games, and then we'll do the selecting of the winner. Where was I? Jags and Chiefs. Okay, the Bucs are desperate, and boy, are they desperate. They have to get a victory here. Buccaneers, they're so banged up. They're reeling. They're banged up. Their defense can't stop anybody, and they are in desperate need of a victory here. If they win, they set up the game against the Panthers. As long as the Panthers lose, which I think they're going to Seattle, they're going to lose, and that's going to be huge for the Bucs, but they've got to do their part by winning this game here, and I am not entirely sure that Miami is going to play ball here with this game, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Bucs. I'll lay the 5.5. It's heavy. It feels too heavy, but it's Quinn Ewers. And you're going to start Quinn Ewers. Sorry, I can't back it. We're taking it. The Patriots, they start fast. They're big favorites against the Jets. I don't want to get a backdoor situation going on here with this game where the Patriots play like they did and just really didn't play well. So why is that happening, by the way? That's interesting. Oh, because it's on a timer. It's on a 10-second timer. Oh, that's unique. That's a 10-second timer, and then it goes away. I just learned something new, right? After 10 seconds, this is going to go away. Let's see if it happens. It does. Wow, look at that. I didn't know that. That's something new. Didn't know that. That's neat. There's timers now on our Cryons. Patriots, first half, -7 against the Jets. They get off to a really quick start. Speaking of Seattle, they are awesome in the Eastern time zone. They are awesome on the East Coast. They will win. They will beat up on the Panthers. Seattle needs it because they got to set that game up with the 49ers coming up here next week in week 18. I'm laying the 7 points. How about this? Josh Allen has never beaten the Eagles. I'll take Philly. They're going to get this win on the road at Buffalo. Time for Philadelphia to start to play better and have that defense. I don't think Jalen Carter is playing, which is a really big blow for them. I don't think Lane Johnson is playing for them either, but they can go up there, and I think they can stop the run. If you stop the run against the Bills, you can beat the Bills. That's the key. You stop James Cook, you stop the Buffalo Bills. I think the Eagles can stop James Cook. Eagles can win. I'll take the 1.5 just to be sure. And finally, we have the 49ers, who very well might be the hottest team in football, against the Bears. Huge win here would set up the game on Sunday, the following week, against the Seahawks for the number 1 seed and the NFC West. It's a de facto playoff game as long as they beat the Bears. Got to beat the Bears for this to happen. And so this is a big darn deal. 49ers laying the 3 here for us. So that brings us to the giveaway. You guys have been awesome with this. You have gone and sent in a variety of different entries and the notes. I got to respond. I plan on responding to all the messages as you guys wrote for this to enter into this contest. I'll write you back from the plane. This is how we did it. You sent an email in to askthebvb@gmail.com. There were 34 entries into this contest for people that wanted to do this. So just so you guys can see what we're doing here. This is a random picker, okay? Just a random picker. We go number, okay? In the top right-hand corner, I'm going to enter in the number 34, okay? So it's 34 people entered into this. 34 people, right? See that? Okay. I am simply just going to hit the generate button and we'll see who winds up winning this. Oh, by the way, 1 to 34 in the order in which you guys sent it in. That's the order that I'm counting. Okay. So you're the first person to enter, you're 1. If you're the last person to enter, you're number 34. Okay. So that's how we're doing it to see who wins. Here is your generation of the winning number 24. Hold on. Let me go and count number 24 here to see who winds up winning this hat and t-shirt from us here from BVB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, the one and only Train. Look at you. Train, congratulations, my friend. You know what? That's pretty damn cool. For one of Dave's friends to win that, that's pretty damn cool. He's been after a BBB hat for a long period of time. Rob, I got you, okay? You will win a hat and a t-shirt thanks to us here at BVB. Very, very cool. I don't know if you're in the chat or not, but congratulations to the Train. One of Dave's good friends just won that. That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm psyched for that. That's really nice. Okay. We will do that again. 100%. We will do that giveaway again. That was cool. But again, that's a random generator. That's not me. That's not me doing that. That's just a random generation of a number, and number 24 of the 34 people that entered. Very cool. Very, very cool. So I don't know if you guys see him in the chat or see him in Discord, let him know that he has won that. He's been asking for a hat and a t-shirt for a long time. Whoa. You're kidding, right? Nothing was rigged with that. That wasn't rigged. That was completely as is. You saw that how the number was generated. That wasn't rigged. That's how it is. Okay. So we will do it again. Very, very cool with that for this. Favorite thing about today. So let's just settle in for a second. I've been thinking a lot about what I wanted to say here and trying to find the words to, if you're watching this show in bonus time, if you're here and you're watching either on YouTube or Twitter, or you're going back and watching on the replay and coming back in audio wise, listening to the podcast, I cannot express the level of gratitude that I have to each and every one of you. And you have to understand what this brand and what this show is going to represent going forward to the Sherapan girls. And it was funny because Kelsey and Kylie and Kendall, when the show was going on, they couldn't have given two shits about our show. And I'm being honest. It's not, I'm not angry about it. I get it. Madeline could give two shits about the show. But yesterday, before I went in to pick up the hats and sweatshirts and hoodies for the Sherapans, they didn't know I was going there. It was a surprise. They didn't know what I was doing. So I bought through Corbin. I bought the hoodies and the hat. And then I had the money that you guys, from the purchases you guys went and did for the Dave collection. Kylie was there getting BVB hats made at Corbin's. I didn't see her, but both Jessica and Corbin told me that, hey, Kylie went there today to get hats made. And I thought to myself, my gosh, that is like their dad was so proud of the logo, of the BVB logo. He was so proud of the brand, and he loved what the brand represented. He loved that it was his, it was ours, it was both of ours, but he loved that he had ownership over something and that he had some level of creative control to be able to do whatever he wanted to do with it. And the fact that the girls are taking that now and like going and producing that, it has nothing to do with the show. It's nothing like, I don't look, they've popped in the chat once or twice. They've come on and been a part of this. They've come on and been doing this, but the fact that the show still exists and the fact that they're still out there making hats with their dad in mind, doing what their dad would do. He would go see Corbin. He would go hang out. He would go have a conversation. He'd make a hat. He'd come up with different designs. They were down there making some different things. They were in the lab, as he would say, creating some different things. That's where like the the 4th of July model came out. The Memorial Day model came out. Corbin's been working on some cool ideas for hockey and some cool ideas for baseball and some cool ideas for the Super Bowl and things along those lines to have us make them. And I felt like you guys should know this. Like, you should know that the community that we have built, that this is a living thing. And it's up to each and every one of us to keep Dave's memory alive and to do the things that he would want us to do and that he would expect us to do. Always forward, never straight is a line, right? It's a tagline. And, we're trying to figure out, like, can we trademark it or can we do something with it? So it's always attached to BVB and always attached to the brand. And we don't know if that's possible or not. Chicago Kristen's doing an incredible job of looking into the copyright laws and doing that pro bono for us for free to go ahead and do that. And it stopped me in my tracks when both Corbin and Jessica yesterday told me that Kylie was there to make hats. And I was like, that's the moral of the story. The lesson from this, I guess, is that we all don't know what impact we're making. And regardless of what our kids say, regardless of what their actions indicate, that for all of us who have kids, that we are setting the example for our children every time we do anything. And that, that line, live your life like you're on camera, like somebody is watching you at all times. Kylie doing that yesterday to me was I knew this, but it just reminded me so much of how much our kids look at us and how much our kids learn, appreciate, watch without ever saying a word to us. Like, we never hear it. You don't hear, Dad, I love that you make hats, or Dad, I associate your behavior, like what I love about what you were doing and what I look up to or what I've dreamt about doing. And now you're not here. So I'm going to pick up the mantle and I'm going to keep doing it in your honor, in your name. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to go get hats made. I'm going to go and be creative and with this brand that the kids have no connection to. Like, it's like, they don't know the origin story of the show. They don't know they may have heard it, but they weren't there. They weren't there when they weren't there when we picked the logo, when we were going through everything and Props was giving us all the options and showing us everything and asking us the color schemes and putting it together. When Dave and I came up with the name of the show, they weren't there for that. Right. But it's not, the words mean shit. The words don't matter. The logo doesn't matter. What those symbols, it doesn't matter. What matters is what it meant to their dad and what it meant to Dave and what it meant to the kids, that because it meant so much to Dave, it now means so much to the kids. And so, we have to all carry that and understand that with our own children and appreciate that as dads, because we don't get thank yous, right? I mean, Dave used to always say, like, he's overwhelmed in the ocean of estrogen. He doesn't get any thank yous. He doesn't get any love. He used to always say that, like, I get bowled over. Like, I'm getting killed over here. He would call me and be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, I don't know. He's like, I got to come over. I was like, okay. He's like, I'm getting killed over here. And he'd come over to the house and we just hang out and watch sports or whatever, because he was just getting ruined. And we talk about being dads. We talk about our daughters and talk about what it's like to be a dad. And look, as a guy, we don't know what women go through, right? I mean, we'll never have the same fights and issues and body functions and things that they do. So there's a connection issue. They connect better to their moms. It makes sense, right? I mean, they have a more common ground to talk to their moms. So we have to find that common ground as dads. We got to find that. And I think wherever Dave is, the idea of Kylie walking into that hat store yesterday to go get hats made by herself, I mean, he would have teared up instantly and started crying and beamed with pride and being like, there we go. Like, there we go. So as we go into Christmas tomorrow and the kids get up and the kids run downstairs and the kids may, Maybe they appreciate it the way you want them to. Maybe they don't. Okay. Maybe they behave the way you want them to. Maybe they don't. Maybe they fight over the remote control. Maybe they get angry over something that they wanted that they didn't get. Understand that they are looking at you and they are watching you every moment and they are learning about life from you, whether we know it or not. That camera is the eyes and the brain of the kid. That's how we're living as dads. That's how we live on camera every day, because our children are the ones who are recording it mentally in their heads. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind when I get pissed off and frustrated and angry, when I get, when I want to fly off the handle about something stupid, when I get cut off in traffic or I have something negative happen, to know like your kid's always watching. And what do you want your child to learn? Because there will be a time when we won't be here. And Kylie is the oldest. Dave was the oldest. I'm the oldest. A lot of you guys are oldest. Firstborn kids, a lot of us carry a lot of weight inside of families and responsibility inside of families. And that was a moment yesterday for me. So very, very cool. Thank you for raising the money that you guys did. Their Christmas morning tomorrow is going to be very special. Jessica's going to write a letter to the girls like Dave did. And we go into 2026 and I couldn't be more excited for 26. There's a lot of things cooking. There's a lot of plans. I've been having more meetings and conversations in the last 2 weeks about 2026 than I ever thought I was going to. There will be some very cool things coming down the pike. For those of you, I got 2 emails from people that want to work for the show, that want to be hosts on the show, on the channel. Like, I'll get back to you guys on that. Like, I don't know what we're doing yet. I am trying hard to listen and take in as many opportunities as we can to make sure the show is going to have a huge year. I think we're poised to have a huge year in 2026 and take some really cool steps forward. And I think it's going to be a really, really strong year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time. I'm going to cool my jets. I'm going to rest my voice. For the first time in a long time, my throat and my voice, I've heard my voice start to not crack, but like show some signs of fatigue. And so I'm going to take some time off here for the next week and a half. I'm going to go hang out with my daughter and Amanda and Brooks and freeze my ass off in New England for a couple of days, head to Rhode Island for a little while and stare at mansions and go see where Taylor Swift's going to get married at the Breakers in Rhode Island. Go and eat some good food and maybe watch a game or two and see if I get the Patriots and go maybe hang out and watch the Patriots in week 18. I don't know. We'll see what happens coming up before we head back here to New England. So January the 5th, I will say this. If you're on the Discord channel, stick around. There is a decent shot I'm going to hop on and do some live conversations, some Discord channel chats while I'm in New England. If I'm bored and everyone's out doing stuff and I'm by myself, damn good shot I'm going to hop on with you guys and we can watch a football game together, or we can talk about a game or talk about plays or whatever. So New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, no, not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the playoffs, all that stuff. Get to our Discord channel if you haven't gone to it before. It's a good spot. TheBBBShow.com. Go ahead and click on it. It's free. It's a very cool place to hang out with the brigade. I'll be hanging out in there a lot over the next couple of days. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. January the 5th, we're back live for another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book, live in 2026. Please be safe. I want every single one of you back coming up on Monday, January the 5th. Hopefully the big guy is good to you and yours coming up tomorrow. Merry Christmas.